Okay, so good afternoon. We will just check some things so that it stays in the recording. Some housekeeping issues. One of the things is that we need to remember that we will have holidays. Schools will have holidays in July, but our practicum finishes in the week of the 21st of June. Therefore, we're going to finish up to that date with everything we have accomplished. And your lesson plans need to accompany the work you do every week. Therefore, I will create tasks every week so you upload your lesson plans for feedback. Those lesson plans also go to the portfolio. So we will start. So in general, those are things we have been talking about, and also that we will have 2 Fridays free, the afternoons, free afternoons to work or to sleep. It's your decision. But we have a holiday next Friday and the autonomous week, Friday, the last Friday in May. Therefore, our next class is in June. Okay. Nevertheless, we continue with the practicum, remember? So this is general reminders. We will continue with the practicum, those 2 weeks in May, plus 3 weeks in June, and it will be finished. So it really goes very quickly, very quickly. We are at the point of reminding again about evaluations. The practicum evaluations with the mentor teachers, I will do with them in the week, the 21st of June. You know that, these two. And the rest of evaluations, we are going little by little along the semester. So today is the deadline to upload video, the reflective video 1 to Educandos. Here, Liselda was giving me a good idea, so I created a task on Educandos, and you upload the link to your video. That would be great. Plus, you have your scripts. Yes, the scripts have been corrected and corrected again. So you all have these materials, and therefore it would be good that we share the scripts with our learning experiences in a forum. So this is the second forum on week, I didn't add it, week 9, yes. So second forum, remember you need to participate, comment to your classmates. You have examples, plus you know the rubric. Therefore, you will receive a grade for this participation in the forum. You know that. If we have done different, examples to these possible comments to your classmates. So you have this to take advantage of. So second forum, upload, each pair upload your reflective script, and in there we are going to learn about our classmates' reflections, experiences, and reflections. Some of them we know that we have spoken in class, others are new, and so you're going to give your feedback to your classmates. And therefore there you will be commenting on each other's experiences and reflections. So they're very interesting. So it's a very interesting piece of writing. You have worked on that and you have it done. Moreover, it's not something new. So that's good. Take advantage of it and let us communicate and exchange ideas. So remember, this is a community of practice. And you know, you have the same with Professora Marianela. You have been working with her in a community of practice, una comunidad de aprendizaje. And therefore, we are all learning also from others and receiving the points of view of others and sharing. That's the most important thing. Next week is a holiday. I was saying we won't have classes. We have the practicum, nevertheless, Tuesday and Wednesday. But I will be receiving portfolios for a midterm revision. You will receive formative feedback, extra credits as well for July. It will be good for me to have checked half of your portfolios. So check, that's positive. Okay. Liselda has this done, check. So it is easier for me to see the rest of the portfolio in July. And it will be also easier for you since you have already done part of the work. Remember, by the end of June, we will be crazier, busier, so it's crazy. Everything will go crazy. And then your grades on SGC, el Sistema de Gestión Curricular. Remember, this is your first grade on the reflective videos. So you have this afternoon to finish about the reflective video. That's not a problem. Upload them today, tomorrow. Yes, the portfolio is uploaded at the beginning. Yes, we will check. Liselda, the portfolio format you already did last year is the same format with your reflection at the end. And the place where to upload all of your tasks. As we have an autonomous work week, that week is for you to work in everything you have behind. Of course, we have practicum that week, and I will be correcting for sure the whole week. Working the whole week, but we will meet for a practicum. Remember, the schools do not have free week. And we will meet again on the 4th of June, the 4th of June for the final weeks of the practicum. So this is the schedule. I think you have time to finish your portfolios. Your portfolio should be at the beginning of the module. In any case, let me check check if I can share Educandos. But we have shared so many documents there. So in general, okay, we don't have it here. Okay, the first part of Unit 1, which is long in the module, started on week 1. Here we have the reflections. Remember, those reflections are also welcome in your portfolio. Here is the portfolio and the rubric on week 2. And I will create a task next week, a special task for uploading your portfolios up to today, what we have done today. Up to today, your lesson plans included. I have seen many of your lesson plans, giving you feedback, and I will continue this weekend. That's why you have time to continue uploading your lesson plans for feedback. Probably it is new for Lucas, who didn't do other modules with us last year. So Lucas, I can explain to you about the portfolio and how to complete it by the end of the class, or after we finish the class. Okay, so do you have any doubts about the portfolio?
Yes, in the investigation module, there is no portfolio.
Portfolio, no. In introduction to research, we don't have a portfolio. We have the tasks, and then the workshops, and then a project. Yes, but no portfolio. We can create a kind of how to call it. There are different ways to call it. I have seen previously, it was taken out at a certain point in between the rewriting of syllabi, but there was a kind of handbook in which it was a kind of portfolio in which everyone added something according to the works of the different weeks. But keep all of your work, nevertheless, you will continue with another investigation module next semester and for 3 more semesters. So it is good that you keep everything there, keep everything because you will in certain occasions need that again and review that. So that's good. Portfolios, I see the portfolios is compile this way of compiling all of the materials to have them ready, and if I need them again, they are ready to use. So it's a good way to keep your folders with all your materials. And it's
Profesora,
nice also to read your final reflections. Yes, Camila.
estaba hablando con Araceli y no entendimos mucho. Tenemos que subir el script y el video.
Yes, the script will be to the forum. Yes, it's a forum. Yes.
Okay. Y
Video, upload your video to task. Va a ser una tarea, el recurso de la tarea.
y el 21 dice Reflective Video One.
No, this is grade. This is your grade. No, this is not. You have the portfolio revision. Yes. So reflect video. We come back again. Today, you have reflect video due, therefore upload to a task on Educandos. Upload to a task on Educandos. Yes, hay una tarea creada. A ver, una tarea creada en Educandos. A task on Educandos. You upload your link in case you cannot upload the video. We were thinking whether we could upload the video. Probably yes, probably not. Remember also that Educandos works with a limited space. ¿Sí? Hay limitado espacio en Educandos para subir los videos. Por eso es que también nosotros tenemos que subir links de YouTube con las clases. Entonces, por eso, es try to upload to YouTube and then upload only a link. No hay mucho espacio en Educandos para tener muchos videos. Eso tenemos que tener en mente. So, reflective video one, you today upload to a task on Educandos. Then you have a forum. The second forum, this is another resource on Educandos for our discussion as a group. To the forum, you will upload your reflective script and comment to your classmates, to 2 other groups. You can do this in groups. Let us do it in groups, not as individuals, but as pairs or groups, so that it is more fluid. Yes, it goes easy. It is easier, and we don't have to write so much. So we can comment. So we will read the script of a pair and comment as a pair. So it is probably easier. So upload your reflective script and comment to 2 other groups or pairs. Groups or pairs. Okay. Groups. Yes. Then next week is it's a holiday. We don't have classes. We have practicum on Tuesday and Wednesday, but we don't have classes on Friday. Nevertheless, you have your midterm portfolio review. It will be a formative feedback to get extra credit, and you will upload it to a task also. Yes, upload your portfolio to a task on Educandos. I will create that as well. Portfolio, upload your portfolio to a task on Educandos. And I will continue keeping the revision during the last week as well. Yes, so I hope I have more time to catch up with so much work. Okay, this is up to you. This red is for me to remember. Yes, the grades. But this is about the video, but it was only a reminder that you might have these grades on the system. Then in the week of autonomous work, we will be working on practicum, so we will still keep working, and of course lesson plans. So it's a work. Your work will continue the same in that area, but we don't have classes. Okay, is that clearer now, Camila? Araceli? Is that
Profesora,
clear?
yo no entiendo eso que puso reflective video.
Ajá.
Es que escucho más o menos. ¿Podría repetirlo?
Sí, reflective video 1.
Sí, el del 21 de mayo. ¿Qué lo puso abajo?
No, estos son las notas. These are the grades. I think this is confusing, getting you confused. It's not for you.
Ah, ya. Sí, que ahí me confundí.
Yeah, okay, now this is not for you. This is for me. You will get your grades. Remember, I am required to upload your grades. So your first grades. Es un requerimiento para nosotros subir las primeras notas.
Sí. Profesora, ¿y el video de hoy, fecha límite, es hoy? ¿Sí o sí?
No, sí o sí. No se han estado muy presionados toda la semana. Todos los montados sigan, si quieren, sigue el fin de semana. No se cierran. Las tareas nunca se cierran. But I need to have them. Yes. For your own good, try to finish. Do not rush. Do not stay the whole night awake. No, don't do crazy things. But the sooner you have it, the better. Como siempre, para que no nos atrasemos, simplemente. Okay, also it's an invitation about the portfolio. You know, it's not a command. Portfolios are due in July. My suggestion is that the more I can check now, it is easier for all of us. So for extra credit, yes, but again, this is not life or death. No es de vida o muerte. It's only for you to organize yourselves and to see, okay, it's a positive thing that I have all of these tasks done. It's better. It's recommendable. But we know the final date is in July, the same as with the participation in the forum. The only thing is that the more we do things along the semester, the easier it is for us to finish everything. So this is about the forum. This is about the tasks. Also, during the last week, you can upload the week of autonomous work. Probably you will have more time then to complete the tasks. You're welcome. This is a recommendable action. Es una recomendación, but it's not a command. No es una obligación. Okay, and then the video, yes, upload your videos to a task, the same as I was writing before, the task created on Educandos on week 9, this week, yes, this afternoon, this evening, I will create it on Educandos week 9. Week 9. So it is easier for us to see that we have every task created on Educandos, so as to upload your tasks there. It's easier for me to go and look up there. So all of your videos, video links on week 9. Just to keep organized. It's better for us to have all of the videos here. Week 9. And week 10, you will have your portfolios. So we have everything organized that way. Okay, any other questions? Anything that you didn't understand about evaluations? So we are on the way, let us say, always on the run. I had a t-shirt, always on the run. Siempre estamos en el camino. So everything I have tried to organize these ways to ease your life by the end of the semester. And therefore is the recommendation to keep your participation on the forum updated and the portfolios updated is just to ease your work by the end of the semester. So this is a recommendation. Okay, any other thing that was not clear about evaluation so far? ¿Alguna otra cosa para la evaluación que necesitamos repetir? But I think you heard the most important thing, that was our weekly organization in the modules, evaluation schedule, which I think will keep us always thinking, okay, I have something for next week. And so this organization is good. It's a visual for me to remember. Also remember that this PPT is like your book. You download it after the class and you go slide by slide and you have all the information there, all of the links and all of the reminders. So this is like your book, like your notebook. This is the whole PPT is your consultation bibliography, kind of. Yeah. It has the purpose of help you keep updated. You know, the evaluations are there. Everything is, I try to put here so everything is compiled in one place. In regards practicum, so we have continued with practicum. You have started to receive your observation, guidelines, and feedback. I do common comments for improvement. I also give you personalized encouragement, always in the light of improvement, what was done well, what was still needs to improve. And if you read all of the statements here, you will see you have certain hints, as I have written you, for example, checklists to help your students revise what they have learned in the class, whether it is a structure or vocabulary. So, for example, that's one idea, and it's here in the guidelines, and it's all free for you to use, just to keep your students connected and check their understanding. That's why I recommend you to read there and see how you can apply for the next class. But in general, in every case there is a lot of creativity. You look very calm, very relaxed. Nevertheless, you tell me sometimes you are nervous, but in general, I think it has been a good performance. There is no perfection. There are things that happen in the middle. Children go off the topic many times. There was this girl in one of the classes I was observing, and it caught my attention because she was constantly going off the topic. And that is something that can happen. I don't know whether we commented, but yes, children are every week come different to our classes, and sometimes they're more attentive than others. So all of those are situations that we have been observing. They happen in real life, in face-to-face classes as well. And therefore they could have called our attention. And I thought of this question to ask you about this topic because you discussed it in your written script, and therefore I was thinking it would be good to have this also commented in class. What events have called your attention during the weeks in practicum? So it could be different areas that could have called your attention, and you have mentioned them in your scripts, but I wanted to have your points of view, your comments to your classmates as well. Who would like to start commenting? Any comments? Araceli, can you hear us, Araceli? Probably she.
Yes.
Because yes, you're poor connection. So Yes, would you like to
Yes.
comment what has called your attention in any
In
area?
general, in my practicum,
Yes.
um, the great creativity and dedication that is needed to elaborate the lesson plans,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yes. Yes.
See,
Yes. So,
they must be motivating for the children.
yes. Attention and dedication. Did you say creativity?
Yes,
Yeah.
creativity and dedication
Attention, creativity.
that we needed
Needed. Yeah.
to elaborate the material
Mhm.
or videos.
Serial,
Yes, video.
motivated. Yes. And it's not that we are not capable as human beings, but of being creative and attentive. The only thing is that we are sometimes running with time. We have already talked that there is a very short period of time to dedicate to this practicum. We will have more hours in our new career that we have been discussing yesterday. So there will be more periods dedicated to practicum because it's really a very arduous work. So sometimes it's not seen, but my PowerPoints take hours and everything is there. All that I think you need to know, to read, to revise, to reflect, to remember, everything is with R. Reflect, revise, remember. Okay, many are words, but it's a full dedication that you need to
Yes.
put everything there. And the same with every task, every worksheet, to look for exact video, image. Sometimes I think I found a wonderful video an hour ago, and that is something that is not taken into account. We are not paid for that work, but it's good for you to have this experience. Yes, and think that it's always a demand, but the teachers need to keep this creativity always alive because of the needs of children. And I think you have something back also, so that there is a reward for this constant activity, for this constant attention. And Araceli, you have had something in return for your hard work, haven't you?
What teacher? I don't understand.
You
I
received
cannot
something
speak.
something back, o sea, recibieron algo por esta dedicación. You received.
Ah, yes.
Ah,
The
mhm.
teacher is very
Yes. You
agradecido.
thankful.
Mhm.
And the teacher is thankful, and the children.
Very motivated.
And children are motivated. So that's
Mhm.
your retribution. Yes. So you are.
Yes,
If it's good.
because they doing the work.
Yes, exactly. So they fill in your worksheets. They watch your video.
Yeah,
So it's
the videos.
the children are motivated and participative in a different way. Motivated and participative. Participative. Yes. Okay. Excellent. Any other? You have already written, so it's just mention that, Alejandra.
Um, can be the participation of the students in the activities.
Yes, yes. So for you, it is outstanding. So it has participation of students. Yes, yes. Participation of students in activities. Yes, they are very participative. Yes, children up to that we have watched 7th grade, probably. And well, the teacher sometimes has to press them a little bit, but around that age, 12-year-olds, they start to be less participative. For some reason, adolescence, pre-adolescence brings lots of other problems or other feelings to students, and we will see something today about that. So be careful, be aware that probably those pre-adolescents will not be so participative. And they are sometimes, what could be the feeling? Liselda, I think Liselda and Genesis, we were talking about that. It was with your group, or what happens with students at this age? How do they feel about participating? Younger children are more participative. Yes, they are more open, more spontaneous. Yes, they don't have problems. They want to participate. They want to speak about different topics. I see that every day. I think it's Camila's students. They always bring about some other topic, whether they have a roller blades or they have a roller skate. They always have a topic that's different from the class, but they like to speak. Yes, and they're all the time participating and speaking. So it's great to see that spontaneity. Others, the older ones, the ones in 7th grade, for example, 6th grade, 7th grade, are not so spontaneous. Participation of students in activities, they're very spontaneous. Yes, spontaneous. Yes. And what else? Alejandra, anything else? Spontaneous. And what else? Participative. And
The confidence. They have a confidence with us. Ellos ya tienen confianza con nosotros en hablar lo que sea.
Exactly. So Camila says yes. Camila thinks there is yes. So that's a false friend, Camila. So we have a problem with confidence and trust. So confidence in English no es confianza, pero es una autoconfianza, significado seguridad de algo. Mientras que la confianza que está diciendo Camila es trust. Yes, es trust, es confianza en el otro, comodidad en esa situación, pero no sentirse contenido, ¿verdad? So, two different meanings. So confident, just because they don't think they're doing something wrong or evil or out of place. Yes, this is what happens with these younger children. They talk about the dog, the roller skate, and they go off the topic, but they're never over worried about what they say or if they're going off the topic. No se preocupan por si están en el tema, si hablan de otra cosa. Ellos en ese sentido son seguros de sí mismos. Yes, they don't think they're doing something that is not required. And so, for example, teacher Gaspar with Camila and Daniela says, oh, okay, that's nice. Wonderful. Now we come back to the class. Yes, so he has all the time, he has to call them back to the topic of the class. But children do not feel ashamed or, oh, I did something wrong. No, they don't think like they're confident.
Yeah. A student tell me, dije, I say, he. The word he, that mean él. So the students say me, yes, sound like a he. A he.
Exactly, that was the case. Nothing to do. O sea, es muy linda la historia porque no tenía nada que ver, absolutamente nada que ver. Exacto. El niño no tiene esa conciencia, esa autoconciencia de que está diciendo algo que no tiene nada que ver. Él está feliz de poder decir algo y lo dice. En ese caso ellos son confident, ese es el sentido, son seguros de sí mismos. Luego hay un ambiente de confianza, es lo que siente Camila. That's true. The children are so happy they are learning and they trust in Camila, they trust their teacher and Daniela, so they are not afraid of anything. They just participate, say whatever comes to their head, and they're happy. And so that is a great feeling, and we know about this emotional environment that we need to build up in our classes, in the sense that there is trust. Also, we can say there is another way of saying it. There is a non-threatening. No, es un ambiente de amenaza. With little children, this is easier than with pre-adolescents. Yes, 7th graders, 8th graders, and I think also older, are more distrustful. El adolescente, el preadolescente se vuelve menos confiado, desconfía más, si el profesor le va a llamar la atención, es más consciente de eso. Entonces ahí cambia un poco este sentimiento de yo tengo confianza y plena y digo lo que quiero y está bien, el profesor lo mismo me acepta. Yes? There is another feeling. So this is with little children or children in the first stage in elementary school. Here in Chile, then there is a middle school. Yes, in the United States, we have middle school from 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, just because this is an age, this pre-adolescence age in which all of these feelings start to change in children. And therefore they go to another level. Here we have them all in elementary school, but nevertheless we have different stages. So with younger children, there is this non-threatening environment. This non-threatening environment in which they're comfortable. And they know that whatever they say, they are praised for encouraged for their effort and for their participation. Yes, great. And this is what I have also written to you. Give them praise. Excellent, Maria. Excellent comment. But now we are talking about the pronoun he. So correct her, but with encouragement. Yes, and this is something you know how to do with young children. Adolescents do not trust so much. They are older and they began to be distrustful. So they are less confident. So they are more aware of what they can say, if they make mistakes or not. And so sometimes they are more distrustful. They don't trust, they are not confident, they don't want to speak. And there is a student in 7th grade where Liselda and Genesis are working. One of the boys told the teacher on Wednesday, no, pero profesora, yo soy muy malo en inglés, así que yo no. But Juanito, you see this word here. What is this word? What is this verb? Repeat. No, profesor, es que no, yo soy muy malo en inglés. So this is lack of confidence. It's the opposite, complete opposite. So he has the word there, but he doesn't want to say. No, just he thinks he's so bad in English, he's not even trying to read the word, no la lee ni siquiera, porque él no es bueno en inglés. Entonces, esa falta de confianza, es lack of confidence, this one, is very common in pre-adolescents. ¿Sí? Los preadolescentes ya se vuelven demasiado sobreconscientes de su limitación y ya tienen miedo de decir todo, aunque esté escrito ahí, no lo quieren decir. So there's another situation there that you might also be able to face in your future. Yes, when you become teachers, you will see that this happens, and it's a complete opposite situation from the younger ones who are not so self-conscious, so they just participate and are more open to learning in classes. Yes, in the practical classes. Yes. Some of them are really, yes, you feel like you are there and you have been there forever. Yeah. So there is no, yes, there is no negative feelings. Any other thing that has called your attention? So I have been pointing out to different ages, different ideas of different stages of conscience, how confidence changes, environment of trust. I think all of them are good environments of trust, the ones I have observed. Sí son buenos ambientes, yes, but of course students are different just because they are in different stages in their development. And so that is different. What else has called your attention about virtual classes? I think there are some interesting reflections in regards virtual classes that you have observed now from the point of view of a teacher. Que se ve distinto from the point of view of a teacher, not you as students. About virtual classes, anything we want to say? We were talking about this 2 weeks ago, about virtual learning. So I think we have said many things in this regards, but from the point of view of a teacher. Anyone? That you think is different with you as students? You have both positions. You're students, but you're also teachers.
I think it's a little difficult because the Thursday we have a problem with the PPT. The slide don't move, and I apretaba la tecla and the slide don't move. So estuvimos mucho tiempo ahí viendo qué podíamos hacer. And then Daniela shared the PPT, but they can explain, no, expandir.
Expand, yes.
Expand the slide, so
yes,
was a little difficult.
Was a little, yeah, exactly. So you might have some technical problems, and that's an addition to all of the everything we have said before, creativity, that you need to have more creativity, be quick to answer questions. They sometimes little younger children speak all at the same time, and they say noise. They're all the time speaking. Their houses, also the parents are there and they also speak. So plus all of this situation, in addition to all of this situation, you might have technical problems. So that is, again, a stress, an extra stress that virtual learning and teaching has caused all of us. We have all been there.
We make a PPT with animation and everything, but no pudimos mostrarlo.
Exactly.
Yes. A little frustration, frustrante.
Yeah, frustration. Yes, this is a good friend. Yeah. So the frustration, that's good friend. Yes. So those are things. Yes, this is one is the translation of the other. So yes, virtual classes brings us more anxiety because of technical problems that can cause anxiety and or frustration. Yes, exactly. They didn't get, or they didn't understand, frustration, or you couldn't show the animation. Exactly. And this is only a little bit of many moments in which we will feel anxious. You will feel anxious and frustrated because of different things. So it is also a little snapshot, es como una fotografía, un breve pantallazo, yes, a snapshot of what the life of a teacher is like, because that can also happen in face-to-face. An activity can go wrong, students cannot understand it, not be interested, and you have prepared that, and it doesn't work. So this is something you have also the wonderful experience of having and thinking that, okay, this is just one more experience. I have to go on and keep on going and think of something else. And therefore, it's this reflective positioning that we always have as teachers. How can I do it better? How can it be more motivating? And so it goes back and around, just to attention, creativity. Sometimes some things go right, some things they go wrong. And okay, that's okay. Tomorrow's another day. So this should be the attitude. And with many things, also as lifelong learners, now the idea is that even when we finish some sections of our preparation in a profession, we are still learners in the future, and we can come back to be learners in the future, and we don't have to miss that opportunity to continue learning. But also working and everyday practice will also teach you a lot. So be open to learning and open to situations of anxiety or frustration, which will surely happen to all of you, as it has happened to every teacher on earth. Plus, of course, virtual classes establish these ideas of stress. We are all stressed just because we have been working very hard. Preparation of virtual classes take a lot of time. Then the resolution of tasks on your side also take time and dedication. And therefore we are also learning how to do it well. And therefore changes will happen probably for the future. But we are all in this long row of learning and trying again. So I think these are good reflections. We have learned a lot. You have experienced a lot, even when it is just a snapshot. As I say, solo un pantallazo, unas cuantas semanas. But I think we all learned a lot on how to do it well, how to improve for next experiences, and be prepared that reality is sometimes shocking, and many different things can happen. Araceli and Javiera had a situation with their professor, with their teacher. Will you share, Javiera, what happened to your teacher? Javiera Garcia, Araceli.
Yes, Miss.
Yeah. What happened to your teacher? Would you like to share?
The teacher is
Carlos? Carlos?
Yes, the teacher Carlos. No.
No?
He have the coronavirus.
Yes.
Coronavirus.
Yes. So
And the licencia.
And he's on a leave, on medical leave.
Medical leave for the 1 week.
Yes, more. I think it's like 10 days medical leave. Yes, and this is something we also need to be prepared for situations like this, and be thoughtful that we might be in that situation in any time. We need to be ready to respond. So we met with the girls to continue with the follow-up of activities they were doing. And so that's the most important thing, keep on working. And hopefully the teacher will come back to keep on helping them and guiding them. But there's always a way out, yes, and there's something we can do to support that work. So all of these children who already had ups and downs with the English in this school now have this problem with the only teacher of English in the school. So so as you see, life happens, but we have to keep on going. Any other experience, Lucas? The other teachers are okay, are healthy and working. I don't know whether there are anything else. We will read also in the scripts now in the forum. You will have the possibility to read different experiences. and give your feedback. So all of these reflections are very, very good, very, very appropriate for the topic that we will deal with today. But I didn't want to go on the next topic, and we will work here in class, so that is not extra work. But I wanted to ask you whether you could finish task 4, or if you have any problems with task 4. ¿Han podido terminar la tarea 4? It was a reading about lesson plan. Any problems? It is considered within the list of tasks for the portfolio revision. It's a reflection about about planning. We have already discussed in class our ideas about planning, how important they were, how they took us to the important topic of objectives that we discussed last class. Los objetivos, never forget the objectives and how important they are. Yes, this is not here, no. But I wanted to ask if you have finished this task, or if you have any doubt. ¿Hay alguna duda para la tarea 4? Any doubt? Anything? So what the author reminds us is the importance of keeping objectives, and you have been asking questions. I have been giving you feedback. Remember that in our lesson plans, we have the general outcome that is present in the objetivos priorizados according to different skills. They are divided in skills. And then we have our language learning objectives. Those are the objectives of our English class or intervention or activity, yes? Therefore, I ask you, please, please never forget, we saw last Friday a good activity with objectives. You have a great support materials to write in objectives with Bloom's taxonomy and the wheel. So you have great materials to support you in writing objectives, even when you have to translate them to English and sometimes adapt them. Because in many cases, you don't have the overt objective in the materials from the ministry. And this was a discussion with Griselda and Genesis, because the teacher wanted to focus on a specific syntactic problem or topic, but that objective is so specific that it is not included in the materials from the ministry. However, they can create that objective when we create our language learning objectives. And it is for sure connected to another objective in the priorization that has to do with writing, probably with speaking, or probably with reading, recognizing certain elements, certain words and categories within the sentence. So we have to be creative in many situations. In some occasions, finding the exact general objective in the priorization, and then narrow down specifically to our language learning objective, which was exactly what they were doing in that class, teaching or focusing, or helping students recognize one specific category within the elements of a sentence. So they were only dedicated to analyze the personal pronouns. And this is one category within syntax. And therefore, this is very narrow to something specific. So it is not in the priorization, but you can create it. So all of this exercising, let us say, what we do every week in trying to find out the exact objectives will help us solve all of these problems. Yes, so we have the general objective from the ministry, but then we have to narrow down to specifically what we are doing. And this is what you all have been doing. I remember that example because it was very, very specific. What the teacher was doing was just one aspect of syntax, very, very narrow. ¿Sí? Era un objetivo muy acotado a una sola categoría de la sintaxis. Y por supuesto eso no está. Tengo que derivarlo, tengo que ir pensando cuál es el camino y acotarlo y escribirlo yo. Para eso, that is why we did all of the exercises we have been doing, and Bloom's taxonomy in the wheel is a great example on how we use these verbs to create our own English language objectives. So, and the verbs we need to use that are observable. Yes, so we can evaluate. And here we wrote last week, so that's why I keep these slides here just to help you. Whenever you have a doubt, okay, I go back to the PPT, and if not, you ask me if you cannot find. But we have been talking about these objectives last Friday, which I think are very, very illustrative of many options, different options that you're having in your classes. So what the girls were doing with the personal pronouns was identify personal pronouns using vocabulary in English or in English sentences, written sentences, for example. And so it was like narrowed down. Only that portion was the class of English, the class in English that they were focusing on. But it can be linked, of course, to another general objective that is in the objetivos priorizados that has to do with escritura, of writing about different sentences on different topics. Yeah, so it is also linked to a bigger objective. The same happened to Camila and Daniela. They looked for a general objective, and then we had to narrow down to what they were doing, which was, Camila, the parts of the prepositions of place. Prepositions of place. So that was, again, one category. Yes, one category of syntax, the same as the other case. Very similar. Yes. So I need to, again, find the bigger objective, which is in objetivos priorizados, ¿sí? Escribir oraciones en la lengua inglesa en distintos temas, something general. And then I narrow it down. Yes, identify prepositions of place in English written sentences. Again, it was very similar. Entonces estamos hablando solo de categorías de la lengua o pronombres o preposiciones. Nos podemos centrar en los sustantivos, por ejemplo, que terminan en ción, o verbos de acción como make, run, walk, play. Entonces, esos son categorías dentro de la lengua. Eso sí, no los vamos a encontrar directo en los materiales del ministerio. Los tenemos que elaborar. But you have all the tools for that. Is there any doubts about this? Is there any doubts? ¿Tienen alguna duda de los objetivos? Okay. So now, welcome back in Genesis. We're just going to watch a video. These are teachers of English as a context. They're teachers of English. They have an institute in England. When we can travel, we can gather money and go and learn with them. And they go around London making different kinds of videos, and motivational videos, something about something to do with language, learning, teaching, or just exploring the reality. But they are very nice, and I discovered this video for you. Okay, we will watch.
Isabella,
Yes.
I'm going to show you a sentence, and it may have a grammar mistake, it may not. I'd like you to...
Okay, so sorry. So can you see well? Can you hear?
Yes.
Yes. So the story is Harry and Charlie go around London with different topics. And the topic here is showing native speakers different sentences. And they have to correct it or not. So check what happens with native speakers of English. Okay.
I'm going to show you a sentence, and it may have a grammar mistake, it may not. I'd like you to correct the sentence if you think there is a mistake.
Okay. You should have been there.
Okay, so correct?
So this person...
The aim of this is to make me look really stupid, isn't it?
No, not at all, not at all.
Thank you very much.
You should have been there?
Yeah.
I would say you should have been there.
Okay.
Read it out loud.
You should have been there. You should have. You should have been there.
Should have been there. Okay. Can you go ahead and correct it if it needs correcting? All right. Thank you very much.
So they all got this right, but this is actually a really, really common orthographical error amongst native speakers in English. But why do native speakers commit this error? The reason is because the pronunciation of the contracted form of the auxiliary verb have is pronounced exactly the same as the word of in connected speech. For example, instead of going out last night, you should have stayed in. Instead of going out last night, you should have stayed in. So, in connected speech, the of changes to of. And likewise, with the contracted version of the auxiliary verb have, that changes from av to of, using the schwa again. So then when we go to write words like should have, would have, and could have, sometimes native speakers get confused and they write should have, would have, could have.
It's clear that a zebra can't change.
Okay, so that is the first example. This is the first example of a mistake I saw, not with native speakers, but with learners of English in the United States, was to confuse the verb have with the preposition of, but they are not native speakers. Nevertheless, this is a mistake native speakers can do. And as you see, they are native speakers of different countries. So you have United Kingdom, United States, and New Zealand. And this is another one. It's clear that a zebra can't change its stripes, so rashes. Yes. Okay, I keep on listening to this.
Its stripes.
It's clear that a zebra can't change its stripes.
Is there a mistake in this one?
Yes.
Go ahead. Do.
No.
Okay.
We're just going to take a quick break to tell you.
I have to change. I hear we have to stop. Okay, this is okay. So up to here, the American did the wrong correction. Yes. No. So now the New Zealander.
So first off, it's like that. It's clear that a zebra can't.
Is there a correction to be made?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
I think that's correct.
Well done, man.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Very good. Well done, Isabella.
Because it is grammatically correct, so you put the apostrophe there to change it from it is to its.
Now you might be thinking that this is quite an easy sentence to correct, but actually for lots of native speakers it's quite difficult. And you might have noticed that some of our participants in this video did actually find it quite tricky when it came to this second it's. So we put this in to try to confuse people, because often people incorrectly put an apostrophe before the S, thinking that the possessive adjective requires an apostrophe, but of course it doesn't. Now, why do they think this? It's because when it comes to singular nouns and we're talking about possession, we need to use an apostrophe. For example,
This is Charlie's whiteboard, the girl's bike, the president's suit.
and then what people do is they incorrectly apply this possessive apostrophe to the third person non-gender specific possessive adjective, like this. The zebra hated its stripes, but of course it should be its without the apostrophe. The same thing occurs as well with whose. People often put the apostrophe before the S incorrectly. It should be whose, like this.
Charlie has less girlfriends than Harry.
So the apostrophe is supposed to separate words. So it is, it's, but not the possessive pronoun it's. Like su en tercera persona, su de algún animal, por ejemplo. Entonces, so that is another situation in which native speakers do not have clarity about how to do it. And this one, there is another mistake in this sentence. Can you say which is this?
Charlie.
Any of you? Charlie has less friends than Harry. Which is the mistake? Would you like to participate?
El apóstrofe, la coma.
Y acá no hay apóstrofe. Yo creo que las chicas lo ponen mal. Oh, no, there's no apostrophe. There is another mistake.
Has less girlfriends than Harry. Well, that's sad.
It's true.
It's a
Charlie
girl.
has less girlfriends than Harry. Well, that's an obvious one, isn't it?
Okay.
Charlie has less.
Okay, so Charlie has less girlfriends than Harry. So it seems obvious to native speakers, but they are not sure where the mistake is. So sometimes it's not only we who are learners of English, but also native speakers have some doubts about this, for example, a sentence like this. So this is good to see how native speakers react to their native language.
Charlie has less girlfriends than Harry. Well, that's sad.
It's true.
Charlie has less girlfriends than Harry. Well, that's an obvious one, isn't it?
Charlie has less girlfriends than Harry.
Any mistakes there?
No.
Is there a correction to be made? And if so, go ahead. No.
May I correct it?
All right, going over to the other side. No, then it's a. Don't do it.
Wait.
No.
Had less. Wait,
No, you can do it in present. Has
You
less
can do it in
than
present?
because you're comparing.
Okay, so we'll do A.
Comparing.
Yeah. We're gonna keep it.
Yes, the boy is right. So it's a comparison. So Dan is correct. So
Keep it. Charlie
the
has
girl
less
is
girlfriends
lost.
than Harry.
This one.
No mistakes.
No mistakes.
All
Unless you
right.
spell Charlie a different way.
Yeah.
Or you could say not as many,
Mm.
if you wanted to do that.
As Harry?
Assuming Harry has any girlfriends.
Good question. Does he?
Well, he's good looking enough, I was thinking.
There we go.
Okay,
We're
done.
good. Yes.
Yeah.
It should be fewer girlfriends.
Ah.
Fewer, yes. So this man has the correct answer. So instead of less, it's fewer. That is the correct answer. So imagine we have seen many native speakers who do not know this sentence.
Okay.
And I think the apostrophe is wrong too, isn't it? Yes, the apostrophe should be there because it's plural, and that should be fewer. It's
The
like
apostrophe at the end,
the Sainsbury's queue, isn't it? 5 items or less. They've changed it now to 5 items or fewer.
That's so true. They did. Yeah, I heard about that.
So there we have it. Sainsbury's even made the mistake, as do many natives. The correction should be fewer, and it's because girlfriends is countable. Charlie has fewer girlfriends than Harry. I'm the monogamous of the two. And of course, we had an apostrophe over here that needs to be removed because it's just the plural of girlfriend. And of course, we do not need an apostrophe for plurals now, do we? We're not mental.
That's all for today.
Okay, so that's the video, commented and everything. So what I wanted to show you here is something specific about which topic. Which topic do you think is the video about? What is the video?
About the grammar?
Yes, about grammar and grammar. What about grammar? Something specific about grammar. It's about knowledge. Yes, knowledge of grammar. Yes, it's conocimiento. Knowledge of grammar. That, what about grammar that native speakers of English have? Yes, speakers of English have. And what do we find? Do native speakers have a lot of knowledge about grammar, about their native language? What is this observation of reality tell us? They know a lot.
They recognize of the mistake of the sentence.
Yes, some mistakes. Do they recognize all of the mistakes?
No.
No, exactly. And so they make mistakes. Yes. So native speakers make mistakes. Speakers make mistakes with apostrophes a lot. Speakers make mistakes. I have seen them. I have seen several cases of native speakers making mistakes with apostrophe, VE, apostrophe ES, for example, it is, or they are, or they have. All of those, in those cases, I have seen native speakers making mistakes. So it's not an absolute truth that because we are native speakers of the language, we don't make mistakes. And we make mistakes in Spanish a lot as well. We do not use some tenses correctly. We don't use some forms of language correctly. The tense, so we have indicative and we have so we have questions, but I am trying to figure out which is the next tense that we don't use correctly. But for example, native speakers sometimes use yo haría, yo hubiera hecho. So all of those verb tenses, native speakers of Spanish do not use correctly. So this tells us something about us as non-native speakers of English. Yes, because we are non-native speakers and we're learning the language. What does it tell about us? Should we know all of the rules of grammar and the language that we're learning? What about non-native speakers? What is your reflection? What is our reflection? Should we have the demand to know everything?
We can have the mistake.
Yes, Araceli, excellent. Of course, we need to be, how can we say, we can make mistakes. We have to be, how can I say, flexible, yes? We can have mistakes and that is okay. That's part of a process. So if native speakers have mistakes because they don't study the grammar of their language and they use it wrongly, but nevertheless they communicate, of course, at the level of communication is okay. Sometimes we foreign speakers of the language press ourselves on the topic of not making mistakes, and that's something wrong. We shouldn't do that. So we can have mistakes. We need to be flexible. but we need to be flexible. But what we cannot do is stop speaking or writing or participating just because we're afraid of mistakes. So we need to be flexible and learn how to deal with mistakes. So it's a reflection that starts with us, flexible, but also goes to our students nowadays, because we see that they make some mistakes and we are flexible with them, but sometimes we are not flexible with us. And therefore, I wanted to show you that native speakers are not perfect. They also have mistakes. We also make mistakes in Spanish a lot with these verbs, yo habría, yo hubiera. And we all the time we're listening to those cases. And nevertheless, we are not afraid, we are not ashamed of that. Therefore, we need to also, I think native speakers are less strong, less, we can say less emphatic with foreigners making mistakes than we are with ourselves. And sometimes we don't want to make any mistake, and that is, of course, not possible. So we need to act in another way with mistakes because of ourselves and because of our students. So this is the topic, and these are the questions for reflection. The same will be in the task. So the more we finish today, the less you have to do on your own, and it will be, the resolution will be easy, so it won't take you so long. So which do you think are your mistakes in English? So we have seen, for example, native speakers have these mistakes. For example, instead of writing their names, I have seen native speakers writing they are. So this is true. Esto es verdadero. Sí. Ellos, en vez de decir sus nombres, possessive pronoun, they use this, the contraction of they are. So this mistake is common in native speakers, but I have not seen in learners, in English learners. So we as English learners learn this area better than native speakers do. But what do you think is a common mistake we do in English or writing in English?
I have one. Sometimes we use the wrong grammar. Sometimes we say she were or they was or
Yes.
I were.
Yes.
We can practice it a lot, and when we are talking like without reflecting too much, when we are talking quickly in a sentence, we make these mistakes.
Yes, exactly. So verb, noun and verb connection. Yes, so we make these mistakes a lot. Also the third person, she go, yes, in certain stages of the learning, of the learning process. So we say she go, she come. Yes, exactly. All of these situations with the S in third person, we have problems. What other problems have you seen in the things I have been correcting apart from sentence correction?
We forget to add the S when we are talking to a singular person in a verb.
Yes,
I don't know. She runs. No, it's okay.
Yes, she ran. She ran.
Yes.
She ran. Yes. But sometimes the
was.
order of the sentence. Some problems that we might have, you have, I also have it, is order of the sentence. Yes. So for example, here, if we take this sentence and we change it into a sentence, not a question, I can say you make language mistakes, and that is the correct order. You sometimes make language mistakes. That was example. So that is the correct order, but sometimes we start changing the position of words because that's what we do in Spanish a lot, which I also don't like, but it's more acceptable in Spanish. Yes, so sometimes we say you, make, sometimes, so sentence order, yeah, language mistakes. So this is again a problem when you change the position of words. So you make language mistakes, sometimes goes in another place. So this is again a situation I have been correcting in your writings. So you misplace some words, so it's another organization of the sentence. So the words are okay. Also collocation, for example, something like you do mistakes. Is that correct? Is the correct verb? You do mistake?
You make.
Exactly.
We make mistakes.
Yes, excellent, excellent, excellent. You're great. Yes. So but sometimes we have this collocation. Yes, you do mistakes. So for example, changing the verb and noun that go together. So you're going to watch another video with teachers talking about these mistakes from students. Or sometimes you add more prepositions. Prepositions is a difficult topic for Spanish speakers. I have a corrector, so sometimes what I see is that I make most mistakes with prepositions. So in, on, at are common mistakes for Spanish speakers, and I think it's something we have as a problem in our language. Although I could see, for example, my classmates in the United States that came from other that spoke other native languages, like for example, Turkish or Russian, they had problems with articles, definite articles. The student came to my class, and in those cases, they either have lots of sentences, lots of articles wrongly used, or no articles at all. So you might have some people that speak, student came to my house and brought cake, and they never use any article. No usan ningún artículo, ni definido ni indefinido. Ni él, ni una, ni un, ni la. So for example, but it depends also on native languages, on how these learners are processing this learning of the second language or the foreign language. But prepositions is something common. So for example, the children with Camila and Daniela learning the prepositions sometimes make funny mistakes, or relationships that have nothing to do, but it's difficult for them to be precise with the preposition they need to use. It's on, not behind, not near, next. No, they get confused a lot. And I think we keep on those doubts. Yes, whether it is at the beach, on the beach, or in the beach. We have lots of problems with prepositions. Just to give examples, but that does not mean we cannot continue learning or speak the language. No, we don't have to stop in any situation. And you will see, as I say, another video with teachers talking about some mistakes similar to this. So do you sometimes make language mistakes even when you know the correct form? And I think Liselda had the answer to this question. For example, she said, you're quickly speaking, saying something, and what happens?
Yes, because we don't take the time to reflect on what we want to transmit.
Yes, so when we are speaking quickly, we are not conscious, aware, and we read about this in Crashen last year, when we said the affective filter. When we talked about the monitor. Yes, there is a monitor that's always monitoring. No, you made a mistake. It's not do mistake, it's make. So there's always a monitor there that is telling you this is not correct. You have to say it again. So when we are speaking and we are not reflect in, yes, when we are speaking and we don't reflect, simple present, and we don't reflect about what we are saying, reflect about what we are saying. And in those situations, I would say you're not wrong. You're focusing on communication, and therefore you just want to get the message across. With Professor Francis, for example, you need to tell something to him, and you're not going to be thinking, oh, he's a native speaker, he will notice my mistake, that I didn't say she runs, and I only said she ran. So it has different demands according to the situation in which you are, the formality of that situation. You're practicing, it's good to feel comfortable and say your message. And in this case, it will be okay, yes? And sometimes you don't reflect on what you're saying, what we are saying, and the accuracy, yes? And the accuracy of the message. You're just thinking of communicating. Also in the street, if you're in London, someone asks a question, you answer, but they're not going to correct your grammar. You need to communicate. On other occasions, yes, you need to be more conscious of mistakes. If you're in an exam, for example, in an oral exam, to go to university in the United States or in England, then the situation is different. But of course, there is a context for that. And we need to be aware of that context. Of course, here in the learning environment, sometimes we need to be more conscious than others when do we make mistakes. Yes. And now that we are in contact with children, we become more conscious of this. So for example, when speaking, do you want a teacher as a student to interrupt you and correct your mistakes? Or what mistakes, or how often? What do you think? As a learner, as a student? Sometimes it's difficult to answer. I would say it depends on the objective of the activity. If it is just communicating, getting a message across, as I said, it's okay. One or two, because we're concentrating more on the content. Some other occasions, correction of mistakes could be necessary. Whenever you have made that mistake several times, and you need to get it right for some other situation or some other occasion, future occasion, a test or an external test, for example. So I think that the situation of mistake correcting, it depends a lot on the situation, on the context. It depends a lot, and also on the need to be accurate, on the learning situation and the need to be accurate, yes, to be accurate, depending on those situations. What do you think is the situation with you as teachers? Is it the same? Do you correct everything that the children say wrong? Or which is the objective? Okay. Any ideas? With children? ¿Qué pasa con los niños? Anyone? Hello, are you there?
Sorry, Miss, what is the question?
The question is, what is your opinion? When speaking, do you want your teacher to interrupt you and correct your mistakes? But that is you, and my reflection is it depends on the situation in which you are speaking. But when you are the teacher Are you correcting the students' mistakes all the time? Or what is your attitude?
I think that first it's important that they learn the content.
Okay, yes, Genesis. So with students, yes, and the same is for us as teachers and you as students. So with students, it is more important. Yes, it is more important to pay attention to the content. Yes, exactly. Attention to the content. To the content. Pay attention to the content. Yes, and to the situation, as I was saying. We need, Genesis, that your students in 7th grade become confident of speaking. Yes, so necesitamos crear ese sentimiento de seguridad. So we are not going to correct them every sentence. Yes, and it is more important that they participate and that they make these mistakes. The same with you. So I need my students in 1st year, 2nd year to participate, to even when they have mistakes. So this is the situation. I need them to build up a confidence, to build up little by little what they are saying, participate with what they know. But this forever long silent period some students have, adults have, just because they feel unconfident is a problem as well in the long run. So both extremes are problematic. If I am all the time correcting them, they will not speak, of course. But if I never correct them, if I never give them guidance, then they are not going to overcome those mistakes. So the extremes are bad. We need to go little by little. So it depends on the situation, on that learning situation. And what is the need for accuracy? If it is a speaking class to prepare you for an oral test, then we need to be more demanding, más exigentes. But if it is just for communication, for getting confidence, for losing the fear to speak, then it is okay, we can be more flexible. So it all depends on those situations. And is this true for you or not? Did you ever feel hesitant, o sea, dudoso, to speak because you were afraid of making mistakes? Is this true or false? Yes or no? What do you think? We were all there. Todos somos aprendientes y todos tuvimos alguna vez en esa situación.
Yes, always.
Yes, Camila, yes, we have to be. Yes, I did. But it's only a process. It's only a stage in the process, yes, of learning. We were all at that point. We all make some mistakes, and then we were afraid of making mistakes. But this is not, that is also what Krashen called the affective filter, yes. Es the filtro afectivo, esa ansiedad que va subiendo. Ay, no podemos hablar más. So that is a situation I'm talking to you about. Some adult learners still persist in this silent period. It's not positive either. Yes, we need them to be able to say something, not become hesitant for a long period of time. Entonces, sí, algunos adultos quedan ahí, ¿verdad? En ese como periodo de silencio en el que siempre tienen miedo de hablar. So that's not the situation, no, not a good way to go. We need to be able to speak, and you have improved a lot as a group since in this last year. So if we think how you were doing a year ago, and we see how you perform today, it's like a world of difference. So you have built this confidence. Yeah? So you have built the confidence. You have made mistakes. That's okay. We keep on going. You have improved a lot as well. So you see this. Sí, hay muchos errores, pero hemos avanzado. So this is the most important thing. And of course, this is what I was talking about, for you to recognize when is correct grammar and pronunciation required and when it is not. So this is the situation for you to decide as teachers if it is good to be correcting your students all the time or if that is not required. So it depends on the situation, the objective. We need the 7th graders to speak, so we are not going to be correcting all of their mistakes because they will stop speaking. And then if we are teaching them a course, some kind of module for them to go to an exam, then we will be having that situation in which we have to correct them. But that would be another objective. Yeah. So it all depends on the purpose. And the main purpose is for you to communicate. Of course, at a certain level, as I said, you need to become more accurate. See, so that is más correcto. But that's also accuracy, so, la corrección gramatical y en todos los sentidos. But that becomes important when we are doing something very specific, as for example, a test, a writing test, an international writing test, or an international oral test, or an interview in English. So think of those situations as probably the cases in which you will need to think of accuracy. Yes, what Griselda says, think of what you're saying and think of being correct, and not probably in other situations in which you're just communicating and this accuracy is not fundamental. Okay, so I think we need to go to the bathroom, or I explain the task and then you're free to work on your task. What do you prefer? Hello?
Now, teacher, explain.
I explain. Yes, because otherwise also we take advantage that you are connected. So here in the task, you have to reflect on all of those things we have already written. And do you remember Benny from last year? We saw we watched his TED Talk. Do you remember, on learning languages? And he went around the world making videos. So with people. And so he also wrote a blog in which he talks about the topic of mistakes, and there are some questions. So what I am asking you to do at the end of the task is very short, is propose some ways in which you can help your students, yes, in your practicum with the mistakes they make. And for that situation, I have an idea. So I wanted you to propose your ideas, but then we also have the ideas of teachers from BBC Learning English. And what they ask you is, if you have any idea, you can send also your ideas to them. So how can you help your students overcome the problems of mistakes? Okay, so that is, so we have the reading from Benny, which is quick. It's very easy reading. You will do it in 2 minutes. And then what is the proposal of the BBC to help your students overcome mistakes? But I would like you to tell me first, which would be your ideas to help your students overcome mistakes? Do you have any idea that you have tried with your students? And then we see the teachers from the BBC and agree with them or not. What do you think? What would
Um, I don't know, Miss, because I don't know them enough, but I think that the best that we can do is when we are preparing the class, make it according to their tastes and don't think in a difficult class. In it, the best is make it interactive and with possibilities to participate.
Yeah, openly and not be thinking of mistakes, for example.
Yes.
So that's your proposal. Yes, absolutely. Yes, you need to give them the confidence to speak and participate and make mistakes. That is something that is part of the learning. So yes, we don't need to be afraid of
But according, it was about their mistakes.
their mistakes. Yes, the students, children, children, and according to
don't. I think that we don't have to tell them you are wrong. We have to say you're close to, but
yeah,
I don't know. No, say no.
No, exactly. So with children and pre-adolescents, we can prepare interactive classes according to their interests and level, English proficiency level, yes, and English proficiency level. So in the case of Liselda and Genesis, you knew the students had little knowledge of the pronouns, so you prepared on their level, yes, so they were participative, of course, because you were at their level, what they could do. So that is okay. That is okay for them to build up that confidence. Yes, I can participate. It's all right. And not close themselves. No, yo soy malo en inglés. No, yo no puedo. No. Okay, so this is something we cannot give them the space to think. So according to their level and English proficiency level. And of course, do not say no. Yes, proficiency levels. So what Liselda says, yes, and never say no, never say no or reject what the student says, reject what the student says, and probably offer them a challenge. Oh, that's interesting. They can't know teach write in English. Oh, that's an interesting sentence. I propose a challenge. Class, come on. What can we, how can we, what do you know about this, the verb can and the negation? Or what what can you search in the internet to help you with this situation? And so if you propose a challenge, it's a good possibility for them to think, to research. Older students, yes, who are more reluctant, 7th graders, 8th graders, probably propose them a challenge for them to look up and bring the solution, like a problem solving. So that would be a good way of propose challenges so that they can search for themselves and think of that situation, which is probably not so correct. But yes, never say them openly they are incorrect in public, of course, or correct their writings with red pen, red ink. No, this is bad, wrong. No. Of course, we know that is not positive. So in the video, in the next video from the BBC, you have some ideas to help them correct practical ideas to correct them impromptu at the same time that they are speaking. And also you can also send these teachers your ideas. Okay, just to finish, and this is the last reflection questions. that we can, again, think of, reflect next class. So why is making mistake unavoidable and integral to language acquisition? So when we read Benny, or any, in this case it's his reflection, but any other teachers or scholars' reflections, we know that it's not possible that we go through a process of learning a language and not making mistakes. That's not possible. We go through stages. And therefore, it's a part of learning a language. Should teacher address some errors, as we were saying in class, in speaking or in writing? When? Which is the purpose? ¿Cuál es el propósito? Which is the objective? Do we want students to participate, include them in challenges, for example, in treasure hunts, to search for the correct version of something, help them play games in order for them to find out mistakes, or just as these teachers in London do with people, offer them some challenges. Yes, and in that way, they would think again in a relaxed way. So mistakes are part of our learning, and they are not life or death situation. And how should teachers decide what errors to address? Yes, again, when do we correct really? And how should they respond to the errors? Yes. And then, how might the age of students impact the teacher's corrections? Of course, we know that the situation, but also the age. Yes, if we keep on correcting little children, probably it's not so, will not cause so much impact. Little children go through a stage of learning, but probably an adult person needs more accuracy because of an external exam, for example, that they need to do, and therefore they need error correction or mistake correction. So, and it has more impact because an adult can understand, no, this is, you can't write, is impossible. You cannot write this negative auxiliary and the negative modal verb. And then an adult can understand that, yes? He has more tools, experiences with learning languages, and therefore a correction can make impact. Whereas with little children, that's not possible. Also with little children, Daniela's little girl, she said, sí, yo le dijiste tal cosa, sí le dije, for example, and that's a stage our children also go through in Spanish. And there's no way we can teach them now, that's not the past imperfect tense of Spanish. You don't give this explanation to little kids. So the same happens with a second or foreign language. Okay, and the rest of the presentation is just for you to remember the lesson planning, your portfolios, the lesson plans also go to the portfolio. Yes, and think of what we did today. Next class, again, 4th of June. 4th of June. So we have several things to remember. What do we have to remember? Oh, we have lots of things here that are old. Okay. All of the tasks, yes, complete the tasks for formative assessment. Okay, upload first of all, upload your videos, your reflective videos. Just to a task on Educandos, week 9. Week 9, on week 9. Upload your portfolios to Educandos on week 10. What else do we need to remember? Anything else?
The video.
Yes, here, upload your reflective videos to a task on week 9. Upload your portfolios for formative assessment to a task on Educandus. On week 10. Week 10. Week 10, also share your scripts on the forum, to the forum.
Miss, do we have the whole day to upload the video?
Yes, exactly. And weekend, yes, the weekend. Do it right. I know it is difficult and you need to change things, so please pay attention to that. Share your reflective scripts to the forum in pairs and comment to other pairs. Yes. In pairs and comment to other pairs. And I think that is okay. With that, we should have finished for the first part of the semester. And we have accomplished a lot. So just keep on, I have to keep on cheering you up to keep on practicing and working hard. So yes, half the semester is finished. So I feel accomplished. So please do feel accomplished. Okay, and time for reflection. 3 things that you learned today, that we reflected today. Or 1 thing, or 2.
We learned about the common mistakes.
About, yes, common mistakes we make in a foreign language. And do we have to be ashamed of mistakes? Tenemos que tener vergüenza.
And also,
Yeah. Yes.
how to help us students when they make mistakes in English.
Yes, we learn how to help our students when they make mistakes in English. Yes. And do we have to be ashamed of making mistakes in class as students? Do we have to feel ashamed or participate nevertheless?
No.
Yes, we don't have to be ashamed. No, it's not a position of our mistakes. And then
and also don't make feel them like this.
Yes, exactly. Don't make your students feel ashamed. No. Don't make your students feel ashamed. And you will see these teachers from the BBC feel ashamed. Talk about this, how to collect, for example, mistakes in the class from all the students and then play a game or ask them all to help in correction. But you're not identifying, yes, Pedrito, you made this mistake. Juanito, you made this mistake. No, that is not. Don't make students feel ashamed. Make them feel comfortable, confident in themselves, and help them little by little to improve what they did. Okay, so the video is there. If you can watch it again, but some ideas the teachers have, they're so funny working together. And also think, yes, we will keep on thinking because this is something we have now, we have the experience now. And so keep on thinking, what else can you do? Remember, we are online. And for example, just a challenge for the children would be okay. If you think it's something that they repeat, and they don't seem to overcome. Ellos parecen que no mejoran en eso como repetitivo. All right, so we watch this last thing and you are free this afternoon.
Hello and welcome to the Teachers Room, the show that's by teachers for teachers. I'm Dan.
And I'm Shan.
Yes, she is.
And this episode's topic is...
So you don't correct every mistake in the same way, do you?
No, think about the purpose of your activity. So if you're doing an accuracy activity, you might want to correct mistakes on the spot and do this quickly without interrupting the flow and get students to correct their own mistakes if possible.
Yeah, because that would help them to learn where the mistake was and hopefully that they don't repeat the same thing. One thing that you can do is use a visual method like using your fingers. For example, with a contraction, I might say, I would like becomes...
I'd like.
Very good, very nice. And this is also good when the student makes an error where there's a word too many in a sentence or one word missing in a sentence.
I am agree.
I am agree.
I agree. Dan, I agree.
Yes, you
agree.
do. Good job.
You can also use gestures, use your hands. So like if a student makes a mistake with tense, so yesterday I go to the cinema, just show them. That means past.
Past.
Or future. Future. Looks like we're doing a dance.
What about if they put the words in the wrong order?
Oh, how about that? That can show. Change the... Don't hit me. Change the word order. We study always grammar.
We... Grammar.
Always study grammar. We always study grammar.
Yes.
Why? We always study grammar.
Because you need it.
Yeah, and if you know your class really well and you know they're not going to be offended, then you can make a joke about mistakes, particularly ones they make again and again and again. Be dramatic. What are you doing there?
I used to get my students to hit themselves. I mean, not hard, but when they made the same mistake 3 or 4 times in the same day, I'd say, that's it. Give yourself a slap.
You've made lots of mistakes today, Dan. Your face is going red.
And don't forget that also if you have a good relationship with your class, it's a perfect opportunity to get them to peer correct each other. They can watch each other's backs and support each other in the learning process.
Do that.
Teacher, my father is a strong smoker.
Your father is a strong smoker. Anybody? My father is a...
Heavy. Ah, heavy. My father is a heavy smoker.
Very good.
Thank you, Mario. So would you correct all errors the same way then?
No. So if you're doing a fluency activity, you don't want to interrupt the flow, break the concentration.
Break the energy in the room. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
I tell students, I'm just going to listen. I'm going to write down, pen the right way. I'm going to write down some errors or language and deal with it at the end.
Ah, so then afterwards you might use them for an activity like a game or a roundup.
Play a game like a grammar auction.
Yeah, or hunt the mistake.
Yes.
Or you can set them for homework. I used to give them 10 sentences. These are the 10 biggest mistakes the class made today as a whole. Take them home and correct them as best you
Wow,
can.
that's a lot of homework.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Huh?
So they're slapping themselves, they're doing lots of homework.
Yeah, but you've got to praise them too. You've got to say, hey, that was a good example of language. I heard that. That was fantastic. You should also give them the stick as well as the carrot or the other way around.
You've been really good today, Dan.
No,
well
right.
done.
Thank you very
much. Okay. So teachers are funny about how to correct mistakes, but this is the idea, okay? So help class in correcting mistakes, or just make a joke, or try to not to stop them if they are in the moment of speaking. So we talked about some of these ideas, and you can have some others. So this is a challenge for you now, future teachers, how to do with how to help your students overcome their mistakes. Okay, at the level they are, with their knowledge as they are now. Okay, so nice to see you. Nice to see you. Do you have any other questions that we need to solve or answer? Any questions? Or
no questions.
Yeah.
No, miss. No,
okay,
miss.
okay. So
no, miss.
Up to for the portfolio next week. Finish up to last task. 4 last task, yes. And this task you can start doing today. Is short. We have answers to some questions, then you have the videos and some ideas. Yes, so it's nothing too long. And then when we come back, we will have some reflection, yes, and see how it goes in the classes. Which ideas can you gather also when you communicate with your mentor teachers? Okay, so that was all for today. Never be ashamed of your own possible mistakes because we all make them and we're all the time correcting ourselves. And this is the way of learning. And then read Benny because Benny is very, very easy to read and he's very funny as well. So he will tell you several times, explain to you several times about the importance of speaking and making mistakes to learn. Okay, so we are done for today. Thank you for coming, for listening, for staying. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Javiera.
Bye, Miss.
Take
Have a nice
care.
weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you
Bye.
girls. Bye-bye.